This is strictlyhiphop.com. I am Miss Jayyiah, and I'm sitting here with a very brave, bold, and beautiful woman who shed some light on some very important women issues lately in her recent book entitled I Am Not a Hoe. Miss Terry Baum.
Hi, Jay.
Hi,
Thanks for
baby.
having me.
First, I want to talk about the title of the book, I Am Not a Hoe. Now, when I first, scrolled down my timeline, I found out about your book on Instagram. So when I
Okay.
first was scrolling, and I kept seeing the title, and I was like, it drew some interest. I was like, I really wonder what lies inside this book. So I asked you, all the judging of a book comes from the title. When choosing the title, I Am Not a Hoe, was it like something you pondered on, something you fought with? Like, how did it come about?
Well, how I chose the title, it was simple. It's just trickery. I did my research and I realized that 9 out of 10 women don't know that they're actually hoes, even though I believe they are. So it was just like a play on words to fool you to pick up the book. Because if I wrote what I really want to write on the cover, you wouldn't have picked it up. So if I wrote, "Hey, I think y'all are hoes, and let me help you get it together," nobody would have picked it up. So I wrote what they wanted to hear.
And for those who haven't read the book yet, tell us what I Am Not a Hoe is about.
I Am Not a Hoe is a humorous take on promiscuity and the use of the word hoe. It was just me writing something that I felt needed to be a subject matter that needed to be shined light on. And I want to take some of the power out of the word and just let people know, like, other people are doing this. And I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, but if you're gonna, let's get some focus, let's get some structure, let's get some money.
The biggest lesson you've learned from being in long-term relationships, short-term relationships, period. What did you get out of that?
You know what? My ideology on relationships is this, that they're like jobs. It's like a career for me because that's basically all I have ever done up until this point of becoming an author was be a girlfriend. So I've spent my life, in one relationship or another with some man of financial substance and taking care of me. So I look at relationships like jobs. The same way, you would get up and go to work and perform your task every day and, behave mannerably because you're working and wear your uniform because you're working. That's the same attitude I have in a relationship. So if my guy likes me to wear workout clothes all the time, that's what I'm gonna wear. I conduct myself as if he's my boss and this is my means of supporting myself, and I carry it like it's a job. So, I don't look at relationships like the average woman. I'm not all hearts and bubbles and our names and lights. I'm more structured and everything is business kind of.
And this is not multiple boyfriends at a
No,
time. Is it?
no,
It's
not
one.
multiple boyfriends. I'm glad you picked up on that. Yeah, because a lot of people just
They
think
think that you're glamorizing prostitution.
exactly, or I'm glamorizing like this promiscuous lifestyle. You gotta have 10 dudes or whatever. No, I mean I've actually done the same thing any other woman has done who's not married and who dates. I've went from one relationship to another. I'm not the first serial dater
Yeah.
ever. I'm just structured and I'm serious about it. I just make it work for me.
And there is emotions and love there, right? It's not
Yeah.
all business,
Oh
right?
no, of course. I mean, nothing can just be. We're human, so
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
just be a computer. I and then I'm a Libra, so if you know anything about astrology, I'm just like destined to be in love. So yeah, I love and I love hard when I do love, and I think that's what makes me so good at what I do because I'm doing it from my heart and I'm great at it. So not only am I, you know, focused and structured and make sure he eats, make sure I'm running his errands, I'm doing everything for him, I'm also loving him. So it's like the reward just comes because I'm worthy of it.
So let's talk about the book now. When I first started reading it, of course, it was comical. The whole checklist, that was great.
How'd that work out for you?
It was like, oh my god! I gave it to one of my coworkers. She like almost started crying. She was like, "This is so fucked up." I was like, "Tina, like what's going on with you?" But of course, I seen things on there that I
It's a
felt guilty.
reality check. I should have named it the reality check.
Yes, it is a reality check, and all women are, guilty to it. And my coworker, she was confused at first. She thought, you was like trying to bash us, and I'm like, she's trying to make light of the word. She's trying to, soften it a little bit.
And I start out, I don't understand. I mean, you should have let her read the prologue first, because I specifically say at some point in my life, I have been each and every hoe that I talk about. Like, so I'm not above this. I'm not sitting on a pedestal pointing a finger. I'm saying I too have done it, or am currently doing some of
Yeah.
those things.
A chapter that I really liked, which is these young hoes messing up the game. You really hit it on the head, Cherry, because who are raising these young girls? I mean, I'm 24 myself, but I was fortunate to be raised right. Like you talked about everything, bad hygiene, not knowing how to cook or clean, these basic things that these young women don't have. So, in finding the root of the problem, what would you assume the problem is? Why these young girls are so misguided?
Well, I mean, it just goes back to, generational things like what their parents were doing. Unfortunately, their era, they kind of, everybody was young mothers raising kids. So they weren't raised properly to begin with. When your mother is 15, 16 years older than you, it's more like you have a sister than a mother. And I know this firsthand because my mom's 15 years older than me. Fortunately for me, I have like a really, really good mom, and she just stepped up to the plate, and she woke up and said, hey, I did this at a young age, but I'm going to make the best of it. And she had a great mom. So the support system is what helped me through. But at the end of the day, it's still a teenager raising a kid. So kids raising kids. And that generation right there is just filled with that. Like, the mom's not that much older than them. So
That is a major problem.
who's guiding them? And then somehow along the way of us burning our bras and seeking independence, we lost being women. And the longer it goes on, the less feminine we are and the more manly we become. So now these young girls are, starting to have traits of men. Guy doesn't shower maybe every day, or how guys go through the little dirty
Yeah,
phase,
exactly.
and,
Exactly.
or they go through they sleep around crazy with a whole bunch of different people. I've been known to say it over and over again. Like, girls are the new guy, and guys are the new girls. So that's just, the roles have been reversed, and it's crazy because I know that it initiated just by women seeking independence and equal rights, and it's gone so
To
far.
the maximum. It's going to the maximum. And then in the next chapter, you gave tips for hoes. You are so funny, Cherry. Tips for hoes trying to help themselves, right?
Yes.
So even with these tips, do you think that women that are so messed up and so stuck in their ways can reverse the behavior and become different women?
I think, as with any self help, and I do refer to my book as a self help book, you have to first want to change. So if I'm hoping that you'll pick up the book, you'll read it, you'll laugh, you might point a finger, laugh at somebody else, and then deep down inside you'll realize, hey, you know what? She was talking to me too. And hopefully I can awaken some awareness, and somebody will say, I could change. But that's going to have to
Come within.
derive from them. All I can do is give you the literature. What you do with it, it's up to
Yeah.
you.
Male hoes. Now I love that chapter because there's just millions of male hoes out there, and I love what you wrote about it. They probably didn't read the book. Just please tell them about the male hoes. Tell them your advice to them.
My advice to men is so funny. I just feel like men are unrealistic with their expectations of women. Men have a tendency to require things that they don't, obtain themselves. For instance, you want me to have a flat stomach and you have a fat belly. You want my feet to be nice and you have black toes. Things like that. You're requesting a 700 credit score and you are -0. Like, I just think it's ridiculous that men just have all these prerequisites and requirements in women, and they don't even meet them halfway. They may have one or two things going for them. Oh, they have some money, or they're good in bed, and they feel like, oh, that compensates and you should be lucky to have me. I feel as if men should date their equal, and if you find somebody, if you're a 5, date a 5. And if you want a 10, then you work yourself up to a 10, and then you get a 10. But stop expecting to pull 10s when you're a 5.
Simple as that. What would you say, relationship wise, is a way to avoid comfortability?
Well,
A man getting
the
comfortable.
easiest way for a man not to get comfortable is for you not to get comfortable. I tell women, be the woman that he fell in love with. If you never stop being her, he has to continually impress you to keep you. He's gonna do the same things he did to get you if you are the same woman that he was chasing from the beginning. So, keep your hair done, nails done, facials, I don't care, body wraps, scrubs, don't, no limits. Do whatever you have to do. Stay in the gym. You know, I look like this all day. I promise you. And I advise every woman to do it. I know sometimes it's hard with children and careers, but I mean, prioritize. How important is your man to you? You know, if he's your equal, if he's your other half, then he's really a fundamental part of your life, and that's how he should be treated. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have time to get pretty for him. I just worked an 8-hour shift. The same way you had time to get up and put on that outfit and go to work and cater to everybody's needs at your job, now you have to come on to your second job, unfortunately, and do the same things. Me, I feel like hard dick and hard work don't mix. So I probably wouldn't work an 8-hour shift and come home and work another 8-hour shift. But, not everybody is fortunate enough to have that. So you have to just prioritize. Take that time out to say, hey, I'm getting my hair done on my lunch break so that when I get home, he doesn't have to see this tired ponytail or this headscarf. And men should do the same things. But I feel as if you're always at your best and you always bring your A game, it's going to keep him on his toes. So that's my science on keeping him from being comfortable, Make him feel threatened. If you're always fly, he's threatened. Nobody said it better than my mother when I was younger. One night, me and my best friend had spent the night out with these guys. And we get dropped off, and we riding all night in Benzes and drinking champagne, and we're in the club. And, I mean, this was the highlight to us. And we got dropped off like 4 o'clock in the afternoon from the night before.
Yeah.
And the first thing we did was go in the refrigerator. And my mother said to me, you been out screwing all night? And you coming in here, open up my refrigerator? That don't make no sense.
It
You
sure
didn't make that
doesn't.
nigga feed you. And I didn't even think about it like
Wow.
that. But the reality of it is, why was I hungry? Why had I been out
Should have been
flat-backing
good.
all night? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You ain't feed me yet.
No,
And that was okay with me
Wow.
at that moment until I was enlightened.
it kind of rung a bell.
Hey,
like,
I ain't been hungry since. So women say it would make them question their worth to ask for money. It makes me question my worth to not ask and need. And it should make you question any man's worth if he comes into your life and you have needs
And
that are
he's not
obvious
helping.
needs, like, oh, you don't have a car. And his first priority is not getting you a car or at least driving you around in his car. You should question yourself.
Exactly.
What type of men are you picking? So it doesn't have to be the richest man, because
Who you
I'd
pick.
rather a man who has 50 cents who'll give me 49 than a man who has $50 and give me the same 49 cents. So it doesn't have to be the richest man. It just has to be a man who does care about your well-being.
And if he doesn't, you got to drop him and
Exactly.
do better. Just do better. That's
And
the
I
whole
always
point.
tell women to start small. Say if I met a guy at the gas station, I'd be like, you gonna pay for this gas?
Yeah.
If he says no right then there's nothing else to talk about.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't even know you. Well, hey, I don't know you, but you want my telephone number. You want me to go out on a date with you. You actually want
You
me to
wanna-
trust you with my well-being, but I can't trust you with this $50 on Pump 9. Like,
Exactly.
that's crazy.
You know from there, like you said, start small.
Start
you find
small.
out and
I don't
let
care.
'em loose.
Like, I remember one time I went on a date with a guy, and it was just like an impromptu, like, we were standing out in front of the house. He was like, hey, ride with me. And I was like, wait a minute. Let's stop at the store. I stopped at the corner store and bought like $70 worth of stuff. Scratch offs. I was just getting stuff. Chapstick, gum,
Stupid,
Snickers.
Jelly.
I just went crazy in the store. I bought literally $50 worth of scratch offs. Because I was like, yo,
was
I
it a
need
test?
something.
You just thought it?
It's always a test, because if he says no, then take me back home.
Yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
only half a block away. I could walk technically.
Yeah,
So let's
you-
not even get too invested, because I just was like, wait, that was way too quick. We were standing outside talking for like an hour, and then he was like, hey, ride with me. Let's go. Wait a minute. Let me make sure you're the type of guy I should be going with.
Did he say anything like, damn, girl?
No, he bought everything, and he laughed at me. He said, do you need any of this? I said, no, I just need to know you'll buy it. And we laughed about it, and we kept it moving.
How long did that one last?
That lasted a couple of months, actually. I listen. I got a 2 to 3 year ratio. Don't play with me. I'm good at this.
What's your advice on snooping in relationships?
Mind your business.
But Sherry, what
Seriously.
if you're in love and you know, like, and you the phone's going off and like,
I don't snoop. I ask.
and
That's
if he
it.
lies, he lies.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is gonna be. I always tell women if you find a number, it's one or three things. He's fucking her, he has fucked her, or he's gonna fuck her. So what do you need? You need confirmation. It is what it
Exactly.
is. I mean, I
It
don't
is
get
what
the
it is.
snooping thing. You know, ask yourself, would you want somebody to? How would you feel if you walked in and he was in your purse?
Ooh, man.
Exactly. It's a violation of privacy, personal space. You know, I grew up in a household that I was very fortunate to have parents that respected my personal space. You know, my brother broke into my diary and he tells my mother, "Oh, Cherry wrote all this stuff about you." And it was all this mean, hateful stuff. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be in trouble." And she asked me, you know, "Did you mean what you said in this book?" And I said, "I meant it at the time. I was angry with you." And she said, "You're entitled to your feelings." And she handed me the diary back, and my brother got the beating
Yeah,
because he
some.
violated my space. And she said touching things without asking is stealing. So he stole and he violated my space. And she told me I was entitled to have my personal opinion.